Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Delores Logsdon today, who's a mother, a grandmother, an author of the book So You Hate to Cook. She is a remarkable, what's called nonagenarian, who's lived through the first Great Depression, who has incredible stories about motherhood, running several businesses, what it's like to live through the Depression, what it's like to author a book when you're just under 90, what it's like to assist troubled teens who are pregnant and unwedded and not even old enough to work. She's a wonderful woman and a delight to many who she's had the privilege to assist and who've been assisted by her. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Delores Logsdon to its Rainmaking Time broadcasting. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I think the first question I wanted to ask you is, how many children do you have and how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 5 children, 17 grandchildren, and a whole bunch of great-grandchildren.
That's amazing. That's a lot of children.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of grandchildren.
They're wonderful.
What made you author a book in your 80s?
Because I like to write and I like to read, so the two kind of go together.
But why on cooking?
Pardon me?
Why did you write a book on cooking?
Oh, because I love to cook, and I've cooked a lot, and I know how to cook.
Who is this book for? Who should buy this book?
Oh, I think anybody should buy the book. Anybody. If you are a good cook, I think you would gain something from it. Or if you don't know how to cook at all, I think you would gain from it.
Why did you name it So You Hate to Cook?
Because I thought that maybe some people would get their attention. Because there are a lot of people who hate to cook, and maybe this would help them.
What are a couple of the recipes? What are some of the names of some of the recipes that are in that book? Like, if I bought the book, what could I learn how to cook using it?
Oh, very simple things, and then some very difficult things too. Some very simple things like how to mash potatoes, or some very hard things like making goulash.
Wow. I don't know how to make either one. Which is why I'm mashing out some broadcasting. The way I cook is with broadcasting and communication, but you do too, because you authored a book before I did.
You're a remarkable lady.
You're a remarkable lady. Talk to us a little bit about the early part of your life, growing up in the Great Depression. Share with audiences what it was like for you, what you noticed, what you saw, what concerned you.
During the Great Depression, there were not any jobs for anybody. I don't care if you're a professor or a chimney sweeper. There were just no jobs for anybody. My dad, who is very astute man, very smart man, went door to door sharpening knives in order to get enough food on our table.
How did you feel about him having to go door to door sharpening knives?
I was young and I didn't think much about it. As long as we had our tummies full, I think that we didn't care how he did it.
How did your dad feel in those days?
He was very disgraced. He was a very proud man, and it was very hard for him not to get a job and not to be able to provide better for his family.
And how did your mom feel about it?
She accepted it. And in fact, then it was very uncommon for women to do work outside the home at all. And she would go to other people's homes and do housework, which was very demeaning for her. But we managed very well. We never went without a meal. And they were both hard workers, and we got through it fine.
When you say it was demeaning for her to do housework, why in those days was it demeaning for her?
Because to be a maid was sort of looked on as not being for the upper class a job. You weren't a maid for anybody if you were well and smart. So, but she did it, and she did a good job.
So it was a big deal for her to shift her thinking to bring in money.
Yes, it was. It was. I don't think that she cared how she got, as long as she provided, as long as her children were provided well for.
Did you enjoy your childhood during the Depression? In other words, was there still a sense of joy, or was it all hardship?
No, I enjoyed, I can remember enjoying going to school and singing and playing, and it wasn't all hardship, no. I think it was harder on the parents than it was on the children, because they didn't realize what a hard time it was for the parents to provide.
Did you sense any struggle with your parents? Like, could you feel them struggling, or was it like invisible to you?
I think we lived just about the same. I can't remember any difference. They both went about their jobs, and we lived just about the same as usual.
What do you think got your family through the hard times?
Being together in prayer and working together got us through it.
Where did you grow up?
In Minnesota.
And did you work on your parents' property, or did you help out in the family? Like, what kind of things did you do?
It was on a farm, and we grew straw and raised potatoes and did farm work and had cows and horses and pigs. It was a hard life, but we never went hungry one meal.
You had all your food right there.
Yes. Yes, we would go uptown to the grocery store once a week and buy sugar and coffee, but most everything we grew right on the farm, and either canned it or put it in the cellar.
Is that where your love of cooking began?
I don't know. I don't know where it began, but I do love to cook, and I've always cooked all my life, and I don't know where it began, but I suppose it was there.
What brought your family, what caused your family to move away from the farm?
My dad raised pigs. That was our big income, and they would be shipped to Chicago, and he called Chicago and said, how much are pigs bringing a pound? They said 3 cents a pound. And what was the going rate to get them there? 3 cents a pound. So there wasn't any profit at all in all that work. So he didn't see any sense in raising pigs because there was no profit.
So then what happened?
Then we just all loaded up in the mobile and started out for California.
Weren't you scared?
Well, I wasn't. I thought it was a big adventure, but I'm sure my mother was.
What did she say about it?
Well, he wanted to go to California because he had an aunt who lived in California, and she told about all the good things that were happening there, jobs and so on. But my mother would not let us go that far. So we just went about 200 miles south to a place in Iowa where we spent 4 years.
And how was that?
Oh, I loved it, but it was very, very difficult for my parents. My mother, who never worked in her life outside the home, started cleaning houses, and my dad went from door to door sharpening knives, anything to get money enough for food. It was very, very difficult times and very demeaning for these two smart people to do such uncommon work.
Were you embarrassed?
Was I embarrassed? No, I wasn't, never.
How about your sisters and brothers?
I don't think so. We all just went on about our lives, and I know my mother was embarrassed, but not